Where do they go from here? America's not in love with them anymore. The United Kingdom certainly are not. Is this why he's desperate for a reconciliation, do you reckon?
Absolutely. I do think that the reconciliation is realizing that they're running out of options. If I were Meghan Markle, I'd go back to acting. She can make a huge paycheck by doing not a lot of work, which is her favorite thing ever. But, you know, she could just do cute little cameos. I also think that that would help resurrect her reputation.
This is one of those stories that makes your jaw drop and your head spin. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are facing a new wave of controversy. And this time, it's not about paparazzi, palace politics, or podcast deals. It's something far more personal. Lady Colin Campbell and investigative journalist Tom Bower have gone public with a shocking claim. They say Meghan is not the biological mother of Archie and Lilibet. Yeah, you heard that right. And now, Prince Harry is threatening legal action to shut it all down. But instead of calming things, that threat is doing the opposite. It's making people ask even more questions. So what's the truth? Why is this blowing up now? And could a courtroom battle expose everything Meghan and Harry have tried to keep private? Let's break it all down. It all started with one sentence. Lady C, during a televised appearance, calmly stated, "Archie and Lilibet are Harry's children, but they were not born of Meghan Markle." The reaction? Shock, silence, and then chaos. Within hours, the headlines went global. News outlets, blogs, social media, everyone was buzzing. But instead of offering a denial or some clarity, Harry went into full defense mode. He called it a disgusting invasion of privacy and started threatening lawsuits. But here's the thing, if the claim is totally false, why such an extreme reaction? Why not just deny it and move on? This isn't the first time people have questioned Meghan's pregnancies. From the moment she announced she was expecting, rumors started swirling. There were videos showing her baby bump changing shape as she walked, bent down, or turned. Some called it fake. Others said it looked like padding. And then there were the strange decisions like not sharing which hospital she gave birth in, not naming doctors, and skipping the traditional royal photo outside the hospital. In royal history, these things are always shared. But Harry and Meghan, they kept it all behind closed doors. People started asking, what are they hiding? Let's be real. Meghan Markle is no stranger to controlling her image. From red carpets to royal appearances, everything has been polished, filtered, and tightly managed. And that control didn't stop when she left the palace. Instead, it got even stronger. With Harry by her side, the couple built a brand around being the misunderstood, mistreated royals who just wanted to live in peace. But behind that image, critics say there's a carefully staged narrative, one that's starting to fall apart. Now, let's talk about the two people who lit the match. Lady Colin Campbell has been studying the royal family for decades. She's controversial, yes, but she doesn't throw out claims unless she's confident. And then there's Tom Bower, an investigative journalist with a reputation for being thorough, cautious, and legally bulletproof. Both of them claim they have insider information. According to Bower, Meghan used a surrogate not just once, but for both children, and that this was carefully hidden from the public and even from parts of the royal household. That's not just a rumor, that's a serious allegation, and one that could upend everything. Prince Harry's response was fast, fiery, and some say desperate. He reportedly contacted his lawyers before the interview even finished airing. He warned networks they'd be punished for airing conspiracy theories. But here's the irony. They're respected, and they've both been sued before, and they've both come out clean. So the question is, what is Harry really trying to hide? You might be thinking, okay, so what if they used a surrogate? Lots of people do. And you're right, there's nothing wrong with using a surrogate. In fact, many people around the world rely on surrogacy for medical or personal reasons. The issue isn't the surrogacy itself. The issue is the cover-up. If Meghan and Harry built a public image, a multi-million-dollar brand based on a lie, that's not privacy, that's deception. They've sold themselves as a royal family, raising two beautiful kids, and that image helped land those Netflix, Spotify, and book deals. If it turns out the foundation of that brand is false, it's not just embarrassing, it can be considered fraud. So what does the royal family think? Officially, nothing. They've said absolutely nothing. But insiders say the silence is intentional. Now that Meghan and Harry are no longer working royals, the palace isn't protecting them anymore. No statements, no defenses, no denials, just silence. Some palace staff reportedly knew the truth about the children's birth, but stayed quiet out of respect for the Queen. And to avoid more drama, now that the Queen has passed and Harry keeps attacking the monarchy publicly, those days of quiet loyalty may be over. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Hollywood is watching all of this very closely. Insiders say some media companies are starting to feel uncomfortable. Meghan's brand based on empowerment, truth, and motherhood is looking shaky. After the Spotify deal collapsed, there were whispers that it wasn't just about numbers, it was about trust. And now, Netflix is reportedly reviewing future contracts. If it turns out the family story was faked for image or profit, that's a big deal. No one wants to be tied to a royal scandal. Here's the part that could change everything. If Prince Harry really goes through with this lawsuit, it won't just be about shutting down rumors. It will trigger something powerful and dangerous legal discovery. What does that mean? It means Harry and Meghan would be legally required to provide real evidence. We're talking hospital records, birth certificates, the names of attending physicians, prenatal care documents, hard proof that lines up with their public story. In courts, they don't take feelings or personal statements. They demand facts. If there's even the slightest inconsistency between what's been said in interviews and what's on paper, the consequences could be massive. The courtroom isn't like a Netflix docuseries where you control the edits and lighting. It's not Oprah's couch where the questions are pre-approved. In court, every claim is cross-examined, every document is checked, every timeline is scrutinized. And if Meghan and Harry have spent years crafting a version of events that doesn't hold up under legal pressure, that courtroom becomes a ticking time bomb. Think about the impact. If there's no hospital record of Meghan giving birth, that's not just awkward, it's evidence of deception. If a surrogate was involved and there's legal paperwork proving it, that changes the entire foundation of their public image. If there's been misrepresentation on official documents, brand contracts, or interviews, then we're no longer talking about privacy. We're talking about fraud. And here's the really tricky part for Harry: he's done this before. He's sued tabloids, media companies, and journalists in the past. And while he's won a few cases, he's also built a reputation for using legal action as a kind of shield. But this time, the stakes are different. This isn't just about a rude headline or a nasty article. This is about their children, their legacy, and their entire brand. The courtroom won't just be full of lawyers. It will be full of reporters, cameras, headlines, and analysts breaking down every little detail. And if Meghan and Harry can't back up their story, the fallout will be brutal. Reputation gone, brand deals terminated, public trust eroded completely. This legal threat, meant to silence their critics, might become the very thing that exposes the truth to the entire world. And here's the irony. If they had simply told the truth from the beginning, even if surrogacy was involved, the public motive accepted it. People are far more forgiving than celebrities think. But by hiding, deflecting, and threatening anyone who asks questions, Harry and Meghan have created a situation where the truth now has legal consequences. And once that truth is dragged into the light, there's no putting it back in the shadows. As all of this unfolds, one thing is clear: the public is no longer buying the fairy tale. Just a few years ago, Harry and Meghan had the world on their side. They were seen as the brave couple who walked away from royal life, the ones who stood up to the firm, fought for love, and demanded peace. They had fans, defenders, hashtags, and glowing headlines. But now, that sympathy is evaporating fast. Social media, once their greatest weapon, is turning against them. The same platforms where people defended Meghan against tabloids are now filled with questions, doubts, and outright disbelief. People are asking, why are the children always hidden? Why the secrecy around their births? Why do Meghan and Harry keep saying they want privacy, yet constantly stay in the spotlight? Even their most loyal supporters are starting to say, something doesn't add up. It's not just Twitter users or anonymous comments either. Mainstream media is shifting too. Publications like The Times, The Telegraph, and major U.S. outlets are no longer afraid to poke holes in the Sussex narrative. They're asking what many have been thinking for years but were too afraid to say out loud. If there's nothing to hide, why all the lawsuits? And the more Meghan and Harry avoid straight answers, the louder those questions become. Even celebrities and industry insiders are backing away. People in Hollywood are whispering about brand fatigue. Producers and investors are rethinking deals. Why? Because when your public image is built on honesty and empowerment, people start seeing that image as fake. It becomes toxic. Brands don't want to associate with scandal. Sponsors don't want to be caught in a lie. And streaming platforms don't want lawsuits looming over their stars. Spotify already backed out. Netflix is reportedly watching closely. And if Meghan and Harry lose the public's trust, others will follow. Then there's the final, most dangerous layer of all: the children. This scandal doesn't just question Meghan and Harry's brand, it questions the legitimacy of two royal children. That is not a small issue. In a family defined by heritage, tradition, and lineage, hiding the truth about a royal birth is like rewriting history. And that's why the story isn't just tabloid gossip. It's a constitutional question. It's a moral question. And it's a PR nightmare. If Harry takes this battle to court and the truth contradicts the narrative they've sold for years, the fallout won't just damage their image. It could destroy their future. The public is watching. The media is waiting. And every silence, every threat, every delay only adds more weight to the one question everyone is now asking. What are they hiding? And more importantly, will the truth come out in time? This story started as one sentence in an interview, but it's quickly becoming a royal firestorm. Lady C and Tom Bower may have just kicked off one of the biggest scandals in recent royal history, and the way Harry and Meghan respond, whether through the courts or through silence, might change everything. One thing's for sure: you can't take the truth to court and expect it to stay quiet, because once the evidence is out, there's no turning back. And if the truth doesn't match the story Harry and Meghan have been telling for years, that courtroom won't just damage their brand, it could destroy it.